What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Shred Show live with me, Josh Pitts, and special guest. I don't know if I've ever actually had him on the Shred Show live. He's been on the show before on the Shred Show, but I'm very excited to have Joe from Mortgage Coach hanging out with me this morning. We're going to get into some great topics of conversation, but if you're just joining us right now, make sure you comment below #Shred. Because you're shredding with Joe and I. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be a lot of good conversation. And if you're joining us on the replay, make sure you comment #hustle because you're out there, you're hustling, you're getting it done, then you're coming back and you're watching this. But Joe, thank you so much, brother, for joining us and hanging out this morning. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, and going to enjoy shredding with everybody in your community as we think about how we can help the market and move forward together.
Amen to that. Before we get too much into that, though, as we were kind of having a conversation, getting ready to go today, you mentioned, right now it's kind of a fun time because we get to spend a little more time with the kids, get to come up with fun projects. Any fun projects in particular you've been doing with the kids?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, my little guy, he just took the training wheels off, so he likes to clock a good 3 or 4 miles, believe it or not, we're putting on the bike. Can't stop him from crushing the neighborhood, so we're going up and down, up and down. And my daughter really enjoys ladybugs. So you can actually order live ladybugs online. It comes in a wonderful packet. It's good for the garden, eats the bad bugs. And we let ladybugs out in the backyard. So those are some of the highlights from our little time together.
Dude, that is awesome. Dude, so my son, we've been trying to get his training wheels off. Like we've taken them off and like he's confident in it, but at the same time, like he's just got that little bit of timidness where he's just like, no, I don't know if I'm ready yet. But dude, that's so cool that your son's got him off, and it is really fun. Just because what are your kids' ages? 5,
3, and I have a new one too. He's brand new, so I got 3 of them.
You got your hands full, son.
We do.
You're busy.
No doubt. My wife's amazing.
Amen to that, sir. Amen. We both have incredible wives. Going through this transition more than anything for me is just like, holy smokes, I don't know if I could ever be like a teacher at all. A huge respect for the teachers out there, and I know that's kind of been a big change for them, but yeah, my wife is a freaking savior when it comes to like helping the kids. Like I could never do it, but it is fun because you and I we're working from home, but we get to get involved with some of these projects. So it's a lot of fun. So
no doubt.
Let's jump into some of this conversation because you and I, anytime we hang out, the last time we hung out was at Snug, the Simple Nexus event here in Utah at Snowbird. Yeah. And you and I always have these really cool conversations, and there's some really fun stuff going on with Mortgage Coach. There's some integration happening with Simple Nexus, but the industry as we know it, I mean, everybody knows this right now, but there's some crazy stuff going on. But innovation is one of those pieces that's kind of bringing together, kind of uniting, if you will, because technology, fintech technology, that the talk of new tech coming in is always a big topic of conversation in our industry, which again, Mortgage Coach has an incredible solution, has an incredible product as well as Simple Nexus does. But how important are integrations? How important are collaborations when it comes to technology pieces in the industry right now?
Sure. I mean, the integrations are critical when you think of the unique workflow of each lender. I mean, every lender that's out there today, small or large, retail bank or independent, they have a technology stack, and that stack has to work together in harmony like a symphony to have the result that you need. If you're going to drive production costs down, if you're going to select and promote the right products that are not only the right fit for you as an organization, but the perfect fit for the customer, that requires a lot of process management and a lot of things to go right to have the best borrower experience possible. When integrations are done on behalf of the lender, it's a huge lift that's taken off that organization. They don't have to do something proprietary or kind of create something independent and on their own. They're able to maximize the benefits that have already been generated and created and focus on the things that they're good at or the things that differentiate them. It's how you use the technology, not necessarily what the technology is in and of itself. And so integrations just allow organizations to more quickly forge a successful path rather than trying to navigate those challenges on their own.
Dude, this is brilliant. What you just said. I think so many people, especially in the industry and mortgage and real estate, they see all these tech pieces and they're trying to use everything. They're like, oh, I'm going to go use this. I'm going to use this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. But it's not necessarily what you're using. I mean, again, great technology pieces out there, but it's how. It's really like, it's like, hey, I'm going to use Mortgage Coach. I'm going to use Simple Nexus or whatever technology piece you're talking about. And it's actually utilizing them the way they should be. And I know there are, and you guys probably suffer the same thing as well, is we get people, they're like, oh, well, I heard Mortgage Coach is great. I'm going to go use it. Or, oh, I heard Simple Nexus is great. I'm going to go use it. And they only use a fraction of what actually is available to them. Is that something you guys see all the time?
Sure. I mean, you see that in any industry with any disruption or change. But really what you see different is different lenders that incorporate technology into their culture, that are looking ahead at what disruption in the industry means and how they want their brand to survive and thrive in the future. You find that those organizations set a pace and offer originators, whether brand new to the industry or veterans who have been here 30 plus years, they create the necessary support that whatever the workflow and unique approach of the professional is, that the technology can help support that result. Maybe you specialize in a niche product. Maybe you have great relationships with CPAs and realtors. Maybe you're brand new and you're working in a call center environment. So you really think about the full breadth and spectrum of all of the different types of lenders that are there. And that really translates to the need to have some diversity in that concept.
And I love that. And a great comment by John Hill. John Hill, thanks for joining. Thanks for everybody joining us. We got a lot of people joining us live this morning. John Hill has a comment: adopting technology the right way, opposed to just getting something cool, is so important today. Joe is 1,000% on point. Thanks, John, for the comment. Really appreciate it. Which is totally true. And I want to talk about this because right now, with the world that we live in, being that we're kind of all working from home, we're kind of on lockdown, if you will, but using these technology pieces could never be more important than it is now. So how do we make sure we are utilizing them? What is Mortgage Coach and Simple Nexus integrations like that? How are they making sure, or I guess educating the users more than ever right now?
Sure. Well, there's a lot of ways to educate the user, and then there's a lot of things you simply do on their behalf. Because when you really look at what advisors need to be doing today, they need to be getting to work. I mean, there has never been a more important time for the consumer of today to understand how does their home fit into their financial plan? How does where they live affect where they want to be both today and in the future? What's their career look like in a world of tomorrow? And so when you look at all that information and you think about where the mortgage professional sits, you are not only the gateway to all the equity that they have in their most valuable asset, but you're also the bridge to take them wherever it is that they need to live or go. And those circumstances don't change whether rates go up or go down, whether the environment that we live in changes so aggressively as we've seen. People are going to need to relocate, and people are going to need to access the financial capital in their asset. And so as a mortgage professional, you know that it's not just as simple as you need X amount down and here's your rate and payment. There's such a breadth of products and solutions that are available and things that service broad range of customer from every demographic that many, many lenders have in their portfolio, but the originators themselves get stuck in that niche that they're in or get stuck in that pattern and don't really take that full breadth of product into consideration and go out there and help the consumer. And so if you make the decision as a professional that I'm going to help every single person I can today. Doesn't matter what your business was like yesterday. We're all experiencing something new in the world we're in right now. And if we make that commitment that we are going to use the knowledge that we have about the industry and about your home asset and making your home asset valuable, we can help a lot of people. And one of the most important things about our industry is that we always lead economic recovery, whether that's in 2 months, whether that's in 2 quarters, whether it's longer, real estate leads the way. And so when you look at how real estate happens, it happens because of lending. We are that key. And so the more that you can help people today or get people in line to be ready to be helped, the more your business is going to thrive tomorrow. This isn't the first time that there's been ups and downs, but this might be the first time that you have so much control out of the outcome that happens later, because you can really sharpen your skills now and you can get ready to put that technology to work. So once again, it's not about what it is or what brand you work for. It's about how you as an advisor are going to use these tools and these capabilities to just reach more people and help more people today.
I love that, because it is being an advisor. It is helping more people. And sometimes I think we see these tools, we see these technologies as a way to shortcut actually being that advisor. We're expecting them to do all the work for us, which is absolutely not true. Like, we should be utilizing these tools to help us be the expert in our field, whether mortgage, real estate, or whatever it may be. Like, we need to be the advisors. And I love that you talk about this. And I know it's something that you and Dave over at Mortgage Coach talk about quite frequently, is being the expert, being the advisor, and letting these tools just help you. I, for lack of a better term, I don't want to say just make us look better, but it really just helps us, again, I guess, display or to show the information to our clients in a way that's very understandable, that it is simple. And that's what technology is there for. Technology is not there to replace our knowledge and our expertise. It's there to help us, just to make it look better.
Well, and being an exponential growth capability for the professionals that focus today, you should be able to increase your profitability and drive down your costs, no question. And that's where I think that you delineate the technology that are tools versus the technology that are platforms. And like when you mentioned Simple Nexus, this is an example of an organization who is creating a platform. When you talk about the digital transition, the e-close, the capability to take the time down in an underwriting position to something that's both faster and more economical for the construction of the loan. It's platforms like Simple Nexus that are making those types of things possible. So from the Mortgage Coach view, we have to work, and we are glad to work with every technology that lenders work with. Our customer is the borrower. We're helping the borrower make an informed decision, and our partner is the lender. The lender is using our approach to make sure that that transparency becomes that competitive advantage, that capability of not selling rate, but serving the customer, not selling the customer, becomes their differentiator. But platforms help accelerate that message. So in a Simple Nexus case, the minute that a consumer starts entering their information into the online application, a total cost analysis is created and displayed. So from that first moment that they start constructing their, hey, what can I afford? They're seeing that advice just be put together in real time. And the combination between what the platform is doing on behalf of the originator and then what the originator is then able to jump in and complete from the Simple Nexus experience not only saves them a tremendous amount of time, but has helped refine that message so they can help more people in that same block of hours. And so just being able to reach more folks. We have a lender that just successfully launched the integration in January and has already produced 22,000 automated total cost analyses presentations to help and consult their borrowers because of that unique platform integration. So it goes beyond just a tool. It comes to a vision. How's your culture visioning the borrower experience, and how do you bring these platforms together to differentiate tomorrow?
That's really key, Joe. It's not just looking at, again, I've kind of mentioned this and you mentioned this, but it's using this as a differentiating factor. The fact that 22,000 cost analysis since the beginning of the year, that's insane. But again, that's just the power of being able to leverage technology, and especially in times like this, looking for opportunities to do so, because again, people are at home. Now's a great time to be reaching out to them, to be staying in front of them. And like you said, it's how are you utilizing the technology you have at hand to really stay in front of them, to keep them educated, to use your knowledge. All of us have been in this industry. For anybody who's been in this industry for any period of time, we have a very vast knowledge. So being able to share that and educate our consumers and our clients, utilizing these tools, that's what people are wanting, and people are open to content right now, if you will. People are open to these discussions, and that's why we have to be doing these and utilizing these.
No question. Well, there's a huge gap in what the customer knows and what we know. And I think when you're in the industry for as long as you alluded that many of us have been, you start to take for granted just how unique the niche knowledge that we all have is. and how important it is that we are the bridge for the consumer to actually understand. Another great partner in the technology space that many of us know is Optimal Blue. And Optimal Blue has a set of data that they call the mortgage market indices. And we include that data in our advice engine and our Rate Watch application so that lenders can both share it with their referral partners and consumers, and that they can see that data for themselves. And what it's ultimately doing is it's analyzing the real-time lock information across 30 to 40% of lenders in the country today. And that gives a really good picture about what's being locked, what type of products are being locked, what's the average rate today, what's the average rate of change, and gives lenders the opportunity to talk about how rate isn't what a customer should be focused on. Their financial plan is what they should be focused on. And it shows the diversity, the things like, hey, if particular FICO score demographic 2 or 3 steps up or down changes things drastically, but so does LTV, which a lot of consumers just don't know. And so being able to use data to bridge that gap, things like MI affordability. So many customers, especially in underserved markets, still believe that the magic number is 20%. They don't know things like MI products exist. They misunderstand what MI is. And some of the MI companies even provide extra benefits like unemployment insurance and other things that would be especially beneficial when the customer wants to do a risk assessment in transitioning from the rental game to what the fantastic opportunities are with home ownership. So I think that lenders just need to be that bridge, Josh, and we're not enough of us do it. And it's been that way, not just the last 2 years, but the last 2 decades that lenders have had the ability to advise, yet the habit of talking rate is just what we stick with. So having the data and the tools and the platforms and the technology to be able to take the conversation away from rate and onto their long-term financial plan is where we all need to be.
Man, I couldn't agree with you more, Joe. And you mentioned this, you kind of alluded to it earlier, but when we go through these periods of recession, which I think most of us can agree we're in a recession, but real estate has always been one of the driving forces and driving factors helping pull us out of a recession. And these things that you're talking about right now, this is our opportunity to bridge that gap as mortgage professionals, as real estate professionals, educating our audience on what's out there and what's available so we can get through this recession. Expand on that a little bit, because I would love your thoughts on that, because you've kind of touched on it a couple times.
No question. I mean, listen, if you look historically, and there's a lot of folks that share wonderful graphs that look back decades, but when you really look at it, I mean, real estate and mortgage lending represents such a large portion of GDP that you have to have a pattern of recovery that involves real estate becoming affordable and accessible, construction getting back to work. I mean, these are all indicators that really show healthy growth and healthy sustainability in the economy. And so when you look at the type of home ownership rates among those folks that are below 40, huge opportunity. So many folks below 40 aren't homeowners today that have the credit worthiness, that have the ability to repay, many of whom are working in various careers that they can even work from home, et cetera, today. So there's a lot of capability to forge a path forward. And there's a lot of folks that are in other situations. 65% of the workforce are not in positions where they can work remote, and how they plan the next 3 or 4 months is critical. So things like debt consolidation and being able to understand how you can use your home and the position of your home to reduce your monthly overhead and position the mortgage as part of your financial livelihood. And so those are all, really, really important things when you think of making transactions, no matter what the economic pressures are, and being able to, quote, lead the way forward. When you think too about the types of ways that the industry as a whole can accelerate what we've all been trying to work for. We've talked about e-closing for how long, John? I mean, we know the technology, the servers, the internet, it can all come together and these things can happen, but legislation has gotten in the way, state by state policy has gotten in the way. Now is a fantastic time for all of us to act, which would help economic recovery by strengthening the position of our industry. And when you think of our industry today, things like notarization, being able to be done remotely is keenly important. People being able to understand unnecessary pressures that are being put on the industry through uncertainty with how servicing is going to be taken care of, and the view on servicing portfolio health. These are things that are nonpartisan. They don't take a political left or right if you're in the industry. These are just things where we absolutely know that not having access to credit-worthy funding and not having access to affordable home loans and not having some of these redundant processes or archaic processes that have prevented the adoption of e-signature not happening, that we can collectively, again, accelerate the recovery. So if you haven't participated with MORPAC, which is our industry's advocacy groups, if you haven't joined MA to really understand the Mortgage Action Alliance and understand what's going on in terms of the policies that we can change in the next 3-4 months that could help the entire industry for the next 4 decades, get to work, because we as professionals can ensure that real estate can lead the way. And again, when you look at the footprint of GDP that we're responsible for, we really have a duty to make sure that we recover as fast as possible, given how important real estate is to the recovery.
Bro, I'm so glad you brought this up. I'm glad you brought up MORPAC, and MBA. There's so many great organizations that are trying to, we have to work together as an industry to get through this. And it's collaboration, and it's discussions like this and getting involved. It's not just as an originator. It's not just sitting back and closing loans. Like everything that you and I have talked about, yes, is critically important to educate our borrowers, our clients. And going back to what you said, I think is so brilliant, is it's no longer just about rate anymore. It has to be deeper than that. You have to be able to differentiate yourself as an advisor on debt, on so many different facets of the home buying experience. But then, ladies and gentlemen, you can't just sit back and close these loans and help consumers. You have to get involved with some of these, the Mortgage Action Alliance, like you talked about, MORPAC, MBA, because again, if we don't, and if our voice isn't heard, then what we're talking about right now, Joe, is moot. Like we could lose potentially. I don't know if it would happen, but potentially we could lose that opportunity. So I would arguably, and I've talked about this with some people, arguably the mortgage and real estate industry is one of the best opportunities think of what it's afforded you and your family. All those who are watching, think of what it's done for you. Like the barrier of entry is fairly low. Yes, you have to educate yourself, like we've been talking about, but there's just so much opportunity within our industry. We just have to get involved, Joe. And I love that you're talking about that. We have to be willing to, especially in times like this, we have to get involved with ways that we probably haven't in the past. We've heard about MA, we've heard about MORPAC, we've heard about some of these organizations, but now is a time to get involved.
Yeah, and without question. And every voice counts, and you'd be really surprised how few voices it takes to really make sense of a complex issue. The folks on your state Capitol Hill, the folks on national Capitol Hill, they don't have the details that we do to understand the domino effect that certain things have. And it can be easy to get angry, and it can be absolutely justified to be frustrated. But in the end, the solution only comes when the experts light the torch and forge the path forward. And that's who we all are. We are experts in our industry. We're experts in our local community, and our ability to make real estate affordable and to be able to transact in the times that we're in are, again, ultimately critical to our ability to positively contribute and ultimately help the people that we love and care about. So we just need to make it happen.
We just need to make it happen. Hey, Alex K over. We have Alex commenting. I have lots of comments. Him and John Hill are going nuts in the chat saying, Joe, you're the man. Love educating the industry. Alex K, thanks for joining us. John, thanks for joining us. And again, talking about working together. Alex, hashtag work together. Absolutely everything that you're talking about, Joe. And I really appreciate John Hill, hashtag Joe for president. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Oh, I love it. I love you guys. That's what we love, is having some fun conversation. All of you participating in the chat, thanks so much for joining us. But Joe, dude, I want to thank you for your time. This has been the last 23 minutes, we had touched on so many little things. So many future opportunities. And hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching this, it's opened your eyes. It sparked something inside of you to get involved with your local chapters, with MOB, with MorePack, and also making sure that you're utilizing the technologies you have at hand. If you need to have a conversation with Mortgage Coach and Joe and those guys and utilize that technology, reach out, make it happen. Christy Sukame. Hey, what's up, Christy? Thanks for joining us as well. But again, Joe, cannot thank you enough for joining me this morning, sharing your vast wealth of knowledge and expertise. I really appreciate it, brother.
You got it. Anytime, Josh. Look forward to it in the future.
Guys, so much fun. And again, that's what we're doing, is everything we possibly can to help educate you and bring conversations like this. We're all about it. And I can't thank Joe, Mortgage Coach, Simple Nexus, everybody who's involved this morning as our conversation. Thanks so much for being a part of it and doing all that you are and being involved with our industry. Because we, like Joe said, I want to end on this. Every voice counts. You count. People, we need you. We need to work together. We need more collaboration. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.